Mental break podcast. Mental break podcast. Mental break podcast.
Ready, locked in.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you. I am Gary, and looking forward to talking to you tonight.
Okay, great. Me as well.
And by the way, I told Gary to go easy on you, Curly Red, because I know that you have a very beautiful baby on the way. Gary is
Thank
easy,
you.
but I had
No. Tell him to bring it on.
All right, Gary, bring it on, Gary. Asking for it. So now we're in 2025. I'm looking forward to catching up with Curly Red and get to know more the updates. The things that's been going on, like the happiness and all of that. Because here at Mental Break, we focus on the positive things. We uplift one another here. We're so happy to have Curly Red. All right, I'm gonna pass it on to Gary. Gary, you can go with questions.
Okay. It's really a pleasure for you to take out the time to be with us, but I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. So if you could, how's your son doing?
My son is doing good. Thank you.
It has to be a blessing. So how is it raising a son, being as popular as you are?
I mean, I'm not really popular anymore. Like I changed my life. So, when you change your life, things change too. So I used to be popular when I was in the world for other reasons. But since I moved to Texas from Florida. So I live a whole different life. I'm inside now. So I don't even, but I would say that when I was extremely popular, it's more difficult when you have more people, more eyes on you, or every time you go out, people are coming up to you. So I like being able to just be a nobody. I can go to Walmart and don't be bothered, and my son doesn't have to be bothered. So, but yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about that. How is that adjustment for you? How is it being on the inside and not in the public eye and just being normal?
I always was normal. So I was always a person who was just so normal. And then, like the social media fame and everything, it just came to me. It was never something I really wanted. And going through that, it's not what I wanted. So I'd rather just be a regular person in society. Honestly, your life is better when it's more private and, you can make your mistakes and go through life without having the public scrutiny of how you live. So I enjoy it.
Okay, so on this podcast, we tend to focus on taking a mental break. And we tend to focus on how do you, manage your day or manage yourself in dealing with all of the stress that life presents. So how do you kind of take time out your day to take mental breaks?
I would say it's all about your environment. So when you change your environment, a lot of things automatically change. So when I was, how I was back in the day, I'm surrounded by so much drama and so much people that bring drama, and it was always something. But separating myself from that, one, no distractions, staying focused on what's really important, like in life. Like I like to stay focused. I stay studied. I like to read a lot. I work out. I'm busy being a mom. I like to teach myself new things every day. So limited social media. So I just stay focused and I just try to stay, positive and always learning.
Okay. I know, like for me, when, my day goes, I'm a director running group home shelters, working with teenagers, 13 to 17. So you can imagine how stressful my days are, working with teenagers that are angry, that are frustrated, and just need to have an opportunity. So I tend to take mental breaks throughout the day, at least 4 or 5, just to maintain sanity and just to kind of regroup and keep everything together. I know being a parent, and I have a 6-year-old grandson that I'm kind of taking care of now, who has opened up a completely different arena of keeping me involved and keeping me alert. What is it like really raising that 9-year-old that kind of, as a mother, keeps you motivated and keeps you involved?
I had took the homeschooling route for a while, and I was
Okay,
actually homeschooling my son,
awesome.
but found that he was really bored in the house. So I put him back in school, but I didn't want to, but just he's so young right now, so I let him stay in school. But we stay active. I've always been a hand-on parent. Like even though I worked a lot and everything, I always was very disciplined on him to learn. He was always in, even before kindergarten started, he was in school for about 2 years before kindergarten. So I've always just had him, we read every day. I'm just really big on knowledge. So I'm really hands on with him when it comes to school. And when it comes to health, like eating healthy, I think that like the things that I learned, I want to teach it to my son. So I'm very hands on with him. I teach him a lot, talk to him a lot. It's helped me grow. It's helped me, become more mature. Um, I definitely changed a lot in my life because of my son. Knowing that you have someone who's gonna look up to you, and then you mold your child's life. That child is very important. So, um,
A- Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. So are you dating or are you married or?
No, I am married. I'm
Okay,
married. So, yeah, my
Congrats.
child's father was in prison for 6 years and just came home last year in January. So,
okay,
mhm, yeah.
okay. I know that Seline has some questions. We're going to probably get into some of your faith and some of the motivating factors that have contributed to you turning your life around and getting more committed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, previously Curly Red, like the brand name. I don't really like to go by the name anymore. I just can't change it on Instagram because it's like $1,500. So, we'll just. But no. So I used to be an entertainer. I used to be a stripper. I used to host parties. Be the life of the party. Just be outside. I didn't really have any care of like the real world. I was just getting money. So changing my life means that I let that go. I stopped dancing. I stopped being promiscuous. The way I dress changed. The way I acted changed. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Um, and I came to Christ. So my old self is just, I'm like not the same person. I don't have the same interests. I don't do the same things. I still love people out in the world, but I just went through a lot. So I'm now just more disciplined. I like gardening now. Like I just I'm like into just total opposite of what majority of people are in. And majority of people, I was asleep. So I was just sleepwalking through life, but I'm wide awake now. So yeah.
Well, Curly, we wanted you to kind of go into depth in terms of just kind of talking about. I know that from what I hear, you've developed a relationship with God. One of the main things on this mental health, on this mental break podcast is that, I've been married 27 years this January. And a large part of the success comes through my relationship with God, my relationship and faith that I have. Um, if you could elaborate on your relationship with God and how it has helped you grow and develop to be the person you're becoming.
Okay. So, where do I start? So I was in the world and I seen a lot of things. I transitioned from the dance world into the music industry. And that's where like everything really changed dramatically. Like me myself, I was changing, trying to conform to what the people that the labels and things, like if you want to be a rapper, if you want to make it, you got to do this, you got to do that. So I'm just kind of going through the motions trying to make it, but I started to lose myself even more than when I was dancing, because my dad was a Christian pastor, but it was just always just words and stories, and I didn't understand the Bible. It just didn't make sense to me. But when I seen certain evils in my life, and I would say what really woke me up out of my sleep, it was October 1st, 2021. And I had a lot of money, I had a lot of fame, I had success, my career was blowing up, I just had hired a PR. So everything in life was going to where it was going good, I thought. But what was going on was inside. I was crying every day. I was super depressed. It was just so much drama. Couldn't trust people. I had people stealing from me. So I was in like a world of chaos, and I was never truly happy. So there were some things going on around my life that I knew like something's wrong, but I don't know what's going on. So because I had like this faith installed in me, I decided to pray to Jesus and to God because that's what I grew up with. So I said, I'm a pray. So I really got down on my knees and I really, for the first time in my life, like really prayed, like cried, let it all out. I specifically asked about different things in my life. And that day, the Most High answered my prayer. I know specifically what I prayed for. And I asked that my eyes be open and I would be able to see what I couldn't see. And that day, my son started to open up and tell me that he was molested by my boyfriend, who I was dating. So, everything kind of just like I woke up, I saw all the monsters, I saw the demons, I understood what was going on and that I was under attack and where I was placing myself to, and everything just made sense. But I had to go through this. I had to go through this warfare to kind of because I started to wake up. So I started reading the Bible. When I started reading scripture, it started to speak to me in ways that it never did. And I was putting myself in scripture and I was learning, okay, you know, I'm of the people of the Bible. So I had someone very close to me who is what we call in the truth. So I'm not religious. I don't believe in the Christian churches or religion. I believe in the scripture though. And I believe in the Most High, and I believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son who came down. But I came into the truth. Everything about me was, I want to know the truth of me, life, and everything that was going on. So as I'm transitioning through fighting for my son and fighting against the industry and trying to break from Satan's kingdom, because I was working for Satan. I was very popular because I was doing his will. In the sense of being a dancer entertainer, I'm letting a lot of young men fall to lust, and I had a lot of girls looking up to me, but I'm leading them all the wrong way. So when I started to turn from that and I started to learn and I started to get more disciplined, I started to learn about, you know, I started learning about a lot of truth, like holidays and certain fighting against trying to leave and trying to do better. You know, Satan's attacking me, trying to bring me back, trying to take, all the money that he gave me. Now it's going away. And it's like, am I going to go backwards to go get the money, or am I going to keep going forward and, have faith? And so my thing is that after seeing the darkness, there was no way I could ever go back. And no matter how hard that Satan came against me, I just had to have faith. It was only faith that kept me going forward. It was only faith. Like it was so many incidences and times in my life where I don't know how this is gonna happen. I don't know how that's gonna happen, but I stayed in my faith, I stayed in my word, and I stayed true to what I stood on, what I believed in, and then the doors and the most high would work in ways I can't even explain how it works. Like I can't explain how the most high works. I just know that I've seen his work, and it was through patience and endurance that I got to where I'm at today. But um it was very hard. I went through a lot by myself, but physically by myself, but I still had the most high, and I had my faith in truly to save myself and to save my son. I had to change my life. I knew that I had to get into the light, because if I didn't have the faith that I would have had, I would have been in the darkness even deeper. Probably would have lost my mind even deeper. Probably would have lost my mind and fell into Satan's traps. But it was just through just remaining to study, and like I said, my eyes were open. So, and I can't explain that. It's just everything just started to just click and make sense. So now I can see when I have an attack or a test coming, and I can have my faith and navigate through that. It's not easy. Like following the Most High is not easy, especially when you come from one world and you leave it behind. It's not easy, but it's well worth it. Like having the faith, like it's not easy, but you have a peace of mind. You have something to look forward to. You have hope. You kind of understand, like, okay, I know why this is happening. I know why there's so much darkness. I understand it, but I want to be a thorn and sword in Satan's side. Like I want to fight against all those, I want to be a warrior for the Most High. Like, I'm in a war and I'm strong. And it's like going through what I went through and being saved. I know I was saved through it. Like, there's no way I would have went through everything that I went through if I didn't have Christ, if I didn't have the Most High having my back. There's just no way. And I can't explain it, but I just know, like, because I went through it. And so now it's just staying on the course. And it's a narrow path, and it's very hard. So much temptation and so much going on these days outside, trying to get you off that path. But I just know I'll never go back. So it doesn't matter what comes my way, you live for Christ, you die for him. So, I'm just prepared to just keep doing what I'm doing, trying to be fruitful, trying to, build my riches in the kingdom of heaven. I'm trying to, wake people up, trying to be fruitful, trying to, build my riches in the kingdom of heaven. I'm trying to, wake people up. I now use my platform to spread my faith, to spread the word. Not so I'm coming at people because I've been there and I've done that, so I can relate. But having like the influence where people can say, I used to know her one way and now she's like this. And it's like you could tell people all day, but it's really how you act. It's really them being able to see you and see the change in you for people to actually see your testimony. So I just live my life, but I let my testimony show through who I am today. And it's the faith. Like it's just it's all praises to the Most High. Like that's all I can say.
That is
I hope I
amazing.
answered the question.
And
I think you answered the question very well.
Okay.
You said a couple times that you can't explain it, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard yourself, but you just explained it. You just explained that, from a young age, you were given the tools.
yeah,
That seed was planted. And even though you took a different path and you went a different route, you know, God stepped in and said, I'm regaining and taking back my child. Sometimes he puts you through situations that helps you remember and brings you back to him. I can think of myself, being the son of a minister. I was that preacher's kid, and grew up in church and understood it. But my path took a different route as well. I was that prodigal child that strayed away and did it my own way, and then I also had to face circumstances and situations that kind of reminded me that I'm actually on God's side and that God kind of favors me. And so even though I was choosing to allow the devil in and control my choices, God had to regain his child. God said, I want my child back. And I think that's what I hear you saying, that God has kind of come in and kind of regained his child and putting you on a different path that he wants you to be on. And it's an amazing testimony. So, you may say you can't explain it, but I'm telling you what I just heard, you explained it. You explained that, God has kind of come into your life and given you where you thought you was at a high place of popularity and money and fame. He's kind of told you, no, you're my child. And with that fame came misery and depression and all of the things that you were feeling. And it took that for you to really see probably that you're a child of God. You came from the seed, and seeds were
amen.
planted from a young age, and it speaks volumes now. And that's why when I heard about this particular interview, I got excited. When Seline kind of said, hey, we're going to be interviewing Curlyy Red, and, we could talk about her past, about, the lawsuits, we could talk about all that, but that's not why we're here tonight. We're here from a mental break perspective to focus on the good, to focus on God, to focus on how your life has become a positive inspiration to so
Yeah,
many people, for you to be that example that your son needs to see of what life could be if you choose the right things and you choose God to let him lead you. This is like, we're here from a mental break perspective to focus on the good, to focus on God, to focus on how your life has become a positive inspiration to so
yeah,
many people, for you to be that example that your son needs to see of what life could be if you choose the right things and you choose God to let him lead you. This is just an amazing testimony that you just gave. I don't know if you realize it, but that testimony is just kind of brought an emotional high to my personality to my personality right now. And I'm just really happy to be on this podcast with you.
Oh, praises. Maybe my first one, Flexin'.
Flexing.
Yeah, that's my first song I ever dropped.
That-
Yeah.
and let me tell you, I was like, oh my goodness, she can twerk. You know, said, when you just said that you were doing death work, and forward to this day, you could tell, Gary could tell you, we had a, I said, Gary, I can't wait for this because I want to, I, I sat down with her back in 2018 and we're in 2025. This is what I like to see, growth. And this is what we're seeing right now. This is what everyone is witnessing right now, growth. No matter what the internet said about you, these are naysayers. They don't know the real Brittany. Stay on the path that you're on. I encourage you. Keep the Lord close. So seek his kingdom first. And that's what you're doing. And I love it. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. Gary wants to say anything else.
I do want to ask a couple more questions. So when you look in the mirror today and you look in the mirror back when you were at the height of Curly Red, there are girls now that are in those situations and are probably, making music or, following their path. What would you tell the Curly Red back then as the person today? What would you tell her?
It's not worth it. I tend to believe that because I was there, and although like I'm pretty, or people always talked about my looks and everything, and that's what I use. Inside, I had so much holes. In my soul, like, we all go through life, and for whatever reasons why girls take the decisions they take to, let's just say, show their body or use their beauty for attention or things like that. It stems from a lot of different things, insecurities, or if you have mom issues or dad issues, and never really dealing with them, and just going down this path and thinking that this is the attention that I want. Or maybe you're trying to find love. Maybe you always want to have love, and there's a lot of broken women, and then they resort to thinking that the attention from the world or what they're doing is what they want, and that it's going to make them feel better. But in reality, it doesn't, because it only attracts the worst type of people. The worst, what you put out is what you get back. And putting that image out, or showing your body or using your beauty as innocent, because I was innocent in doing it. I didn't really know what I was doing, but as innocent as some people may be, it just brings a lot of negativity. It's going to bring those demons that are attracted to that. And as a woman that I am now, I don't want to show my body. Like, I want to be covered up. Like, I don't want people to comment about how I look and things. I'd rather someone say, your mind is beautiful. The things that matter. I've always been complimented on how I've been as a mother. But like hearing that, like you're a good mother, and you're smart, you're educated, you're intelligent. I would just tell younger me, it's not, you're going to be chasing something that you're never going to find in that lifestyle. It's never going to come. Your happiness, there's no happiness in money. There is no happiness in fame. You could have all the money, but when real life hits you, that doesn't do money doesn't solve everything. Money's not going to help you with everything. Fame and the fake Instagram support and the social media, and you have 1 million followers, it doesn't matter, because when you go through real life, real world does not care about you. The world does not care about you whatsoever. And it's finding your relationship with the Most High in Christ, because they care about you. Anything outside of that is fake. Like, it's fake love, it's fake validation. So I just I wish, and I didn't have people tell me, you're too pretty to do this, you're too smart to be here. And again, I was blind, so I didn't understand. But if I could tell my younger self, just have more respect for yourself. Like, you're putting yourself out there, and you're showing yourself a certain way, even though that's not your intentions. That's how people perceive it. So you're gonna get people who are gonna come to just only use you for your body, to only use you for your money, to only use you for your fame. But that's not where the place I'm at now. people that gravitate towards me is for my mind, it's for the change, it's for what really matters in life. It's not for vainglory. And so I would just, I had the Most High try to stop me a few times. Like there's been times throughout my journey where I went through big events and it was kind of like, all right, I need to chill, but I just kept going. Or, like I was in a car accident before and it was really bad, but I was okay, but other people weren't. And I knew like, okay, I need to slow down, but I didn't. And then I was robbed twice. So I would tell myself, okay, I need to stop. I need to chill. Cause I just knew like there was things happening. Maybe I should slow down, but it was like, I kept going until the Most High took his hands off of me, and I was like, you know what? Go ahead. Let's see what you got, And then Satan was able to come and give me a huge attack through my child. And then that's when it was like, it just, sometimes you just have to hit those rock bottom moments. But I just wish I could tell, like I do, like to other women who are in my shoes now, like, don't hit rock bottom to change. Like, you don't have to wait till something dramatic happens and you have to go through some things to change. Like, but again, some people, you gotta let them, do their course. But I would tell her, it's not worth it. You're never gonna be chasing and chasing and chasing, and you're never gonna find what you're looking for.
Awesome. That was excellent. The thing that I would say is that, I look at you and, I see a beautiful person. And, but I can tell you from a guy's perspective, from my perspective, that you're probably 3 times more amazing and beautiful now from the inside out. The person that you are becoming in God's eyes is 4 or 5 times more attractive than you could imagine ever being back in those days. And, that's the part that for me, have become, how greater you have become, beautiful as wise, in God's eyes. It's an amazing thing. My last question is, so what's next? What's next for you and your life for the next 10 years? What are your plans?
Well, I'm about to have another baby. I'm about to have
Look at
having
that
a
blessing.
daughter.
That's a blessing.
Yes, it is. So, I'm having a daughter. My husband did come home from prison, and I was, planting those seeds the whole time we kind of regained our relationship. But we're on 2 separate paths, a little unequally yoked. So we have issues, as he's still kind of getting his life together, and I'm where I'm at. So there's a lot of patience, and I have to deal with, and staying my course, but also praying that he will be able to lead the way that he's supposed to lead, the way that I would want a man to lead my family. So marriage is definitely a lot of work. So I am, focused and committed on, being a wife and learning how to be a wife, because you can be taught or seen, but it's something that you really have to grow into, and that also comes from the Most High as well. Learning how to be, the Proverbs woman, and the trauma, and the certain things that I used to be into, the feminism. I don't need no man, having to strip all that down, learn how to be submissive. It's a lot of work that I have to do still on my part to be a wife. But I focus on being a wife. I focus on my family. As I said, I got into gardening, so I'm learning about doing that. But I see myself wanting to be on land in the middle of nowhere, being a homesteader. I do herbs, and I just want to just be as far out the way as possible, and just stay in my faith, but just being fruitful and forever learning and forever moving forward. But as far as like, I went through a lot on social media, so I don't really like social media anymore, because I've seen how the enemy uses social media, and it can take a victim and make them look like the worst person in the world, and then take the worst people in the world and make them look like the best people in the world. And because I come from the industry and meeting all these artists and actors and things like that, I've seen how that works, and I've seen how dangerous it is, that people idolize people on social media or think you know them because you follow them on Instagram. But a lot of people, especially higher up people, are not at all who they say they are, and it's just a front. So I haven't like released any music. I still make music, but I make music for the Most High. I make music to show my testimony, but I just haven't released it because I don't know. I with social media, I don't know. It's all in me. It's like me, like my own fears. It just kind of just I went through a lot, and I rather just be to myself. But I hope one day I could get over my own fears and start releasing music and be able to use my musical gifts and talents for the Most High to the public. And yeah, I'm waiting for this crypto to pop. I'm into crypto now. So I'm waiting for this little coin so I can go buy me some land, get some animals, and maybe make a homesteading channel in the future and just live a soft life in the
Okay.
country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to repeat a couple things because, earlier you spoke and you indicated that you couldn't explain. And I think you did a great job of explaining tonight how God took over and is blessing you through your faith. You know, the other thing you just mentioned was that, and you said a couple times, was that you're into planting and gardening. And I just want to kind of give you some insight on my belief on planting and gardening because I think you said that you weren't religious, but I think planting and gardening is probably one of the most religious things you can do. If you do
Oh,
the
it's
study,
biblical. Yeah, it's
if
biblical
if
for
if
sure.
if you do the study of the soil and the
Mm.
richness of the soil that comes from the earth, you're going to get a whole different perspective on now once you plant seeds and you start to water those seeds and see growth take place. In one of our previous podcasts, we talked about, men and women and, is the grass greener on the other side? When we came to a conclusion that the grass is greener where you water it. And so when you think about planting and gardening and you're watering that plant and you see that seed start to grow, that's a process of God working miracles that's allowing you to see that what you take care of and how you nurture it and what you put into it is 100% of what you get out of it. And I just want you to know that this platform that you have, that you're using right now to spread this word, is blessing a lot of girls today. It's
Amen.
blessing a lot of women today. Is allowing them to see that someone that was in where they are, God is able to take over and give them a different platform that is 3 times more powerful. And I'm just going to close with I'm really, really excited and glad to meet you tonight. You don't know how much of a blessing you are
Yeah.
with your testimony today.
To want to do it on, here on this podcast, on this platform, as Gary stated before, that is, I love your bravery. I just love everything that is going on right now at this moment. I love it all. Um, because back then, I'm telling you, back in 2018, she was like a female version of Tupac. I'm telling you, like she came at you like, oh, I know.
Well, I'm going to close. I'm going to close with, again, I can't say it enough of how exciting I was tonight to have the amazing Curly Red with us tonight. But I'm even more blessed with her message and her lifestyle at this point and the example that she has become for so many people that are going to see this. That they can probably realize that through faith and through choices, they can become what you see now today. And Curly Red, you have made my night. And, I was excited today doing a lot of things on King birthday, but I'm even more excited now because of your inspiration and the message that you've given us tonight. This is Gary Brannen on Mental Break. I want to thank everybody for watching. And Curly Red, you are amazing.
Everyone, again, this is the Maverick Podcast, and I am your host, Seline. I'm signing off. My word of encouragement is Curly Red, keep the faith. Did you hear that?
Yes, ma'am.
Word of encouragement is, won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Yes, all praises.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you so much for watching. We love you and see you next.
All righty. Good night.
Bye, guys.
All right.